You ever been on a group tour and thought to yourself, hey, I could do this? It really does look like the dream job, doesn't it? Traveling the world, sharing amazing experiences. But what's the real difference between a passionate tourist and a professional tour leader? Well, as we're about to find out, it often boils down to one single massive hurdle. So let me ask you straight up, do you really think you have what it takes? Because it is so much more than just knowing the best spots to take a photo. It's about mastering a whole rule book, knowing the regulations, and knowing exactly what to do when a crisis hits. So let's dive in and see what that actually looks like. The whole journey starts right here. And no, not at an airport, but in an exam hall. This is the official checklist for the government certification exam in Taiwan. If you want to legally lead a tour group out of the country, you've got to pass this thing. And trust me when I say it covers everything, I mean everything. All right, first up, let's talk about the very first gate you have to get through, getting that official license. Okay, so first things first, what even is a tour leader officially? Well, according to Taiwan's Development of Tourism Act, a tour leader isn't just some person who knows their way around. They are a paid professional, and their job is specifically to lead tourist groups outbound. That's the key. They're taking people out of the country. It's a very precise legal definition, and it comes with some pretty hefty responsibilities. And yeah, the government is not playing around here. Get this, if you're caught leading a tour without a license, you could be facing a fine of up to 50,000 new Taiwan dollars. That number alone tells you everything you need to know about the stakes here. This isn't just a hobby, it's a seriously regulated profession. And you might think passing the exam is the finish line, but oh no, it's really just the beginning. Look at this timeline. Once you pass that first test, the clock starts. You've got 3 years to complete a mandatory 56-hour training course. And after that, you have to pass another test, and this time you need at least a 70. It's only after jumping through all those hoops that you finally get your certificate. Seriously, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, so we've covered the personal licensing, but the test goes deeper. It's not just about what you do as a leader. It's about understanding the whole business of travel. You've got to master the rulebook for the agencies themselves. And one of the most interesting things is the safety net that's built in to protect travelers. Every single licensed agency has to have two kinds of insurance. First, you've got your standard liability insurance, for accidents. But the second one is the real game changer, performance guarantee insurance. That's the one that protects your money if, say, the travel agency goes out of business before your trip. It's a huge deal. And we are talking about significant liability here. Just to give you an idea, the exam materials state that the minimum insurance payout for the accidental death of a single passenger is 2.5 million new Taiwan dollars. Wow, that number right there really puts the responsibility of the agency and its tour leaders into perspective, doesn't it? And believe me, it doesn't stop with insurance. The exam digs into everything. We're talking about the nitty-gritty rules for advertising, the specific financial requirements an agency has to meet. Literally everything. You really have to know this business from the inside out.
All right, now this is where things get really intense. Forget the business rules for a second. A tour leader has to be a master of chaos. I'm talking natural disasters, border crossings, customs. This is the part that's the real gauntlet.
So let's play out a scenario, and this comes straight from the exam. Picture this. A volcano erupts. Your flight is canceled. Your whole group is stranded, and every single one of them is looking at you. What's the plan? Who's paying for the extra hotel nights? The official travel contract has all the answers, and as the tour leader, you're expected to know them cold. This table pretty much breaks it all down. In a situation like that, what the lawyers call a force majeure event, an act of God like a volcano, the contract is super clear. The traveler actually has to cover the extra costs, like the hotel and new flights, same for emergency medical stuff. But, and this is important, look at that last line. If the agency is the one who has to cancel for some other reason, they're the ones on the hook. And these penalties are spelled out in black and white. It's totally a two-way street. If the agency bails on you the day before the trip, they owe you a 50% penalty on the tour fee. But flip that around. If you, the traveler, cancel way in advance, say 41 days out, you still forfeit 5%. And the tour leader? They have to be the expert who can explain all of this to a potentially very stressed out group of people. Okay, so finally, let's get to what I like to call the X factor. What really separates a good tour leader from a truly great one? I think it comes down to the absolutely wild range of knowledge they have. And yeah, the exam tests you on some pretty surprising stuff.
Just to give you a taste of how broad this exam is, let's do a little rapid-fire round. These are real questions from the test. You ready? First one. Who is on the U.S. $100 bill? Yep, a tour leader needs to know this. It's Benjamin Franklin. All right, next up. How much gold by value can you legally carry into the country without a permit? The answer? 20,000 US dollars. See? This is that practical, real-world info a tour leader has to have at their fingertips. And for the last one, here's a question that probably every single tour leader gets asked constantly. What's the duty-free limit on alcohol when you're coming back home? Knowing that exact number isn't just trivia. It's a fundamental part of the job, and you better believe it's on the test. So you can see how a great tour leader's brain is just packed with all these hard technical rules. Like this one here. You absolutely have to know the specific currency limits when you're traveling between Taiwan and mainland China. These are the kinds of black and white facts you just have to memorize. No way around it. But here's the thing. It's not all about laws and currency limits. This little doodle, which came from an actual training class, says it all. Sometimes it's about the unwritten rules, right? The soft skills. It's about knowing the local etiquette, like who should go up the stairs first or who leads the way down. That's the art that you have to pair with all that science we just talked about. So here we are. After looking at all the regulations, the crisis plans, the insurance rules, even the trivia questions, we're back to that first question I asked. But maybe it feels a little different now, a little heavier. You've seen the rule book. So, what do you think? Are you ready to lead?